Hey, it's AuntieLan, and today I have a letter from Daria, who I hope is really the name of the person because I love that name because I loved that show. So Daria says, Dear AuntieLan, I fell out of love with my job and don't know what to do. I have a family to provide for, and my income is the most I've ever made, but I don't feel excited about my job anymore. I've done the same thing for almost 20 years. Do I figure out what made me fall out of love with my job and try to make it work for the sake of my family and our livelihood? Do I just grin and bear it until my kids are old enough to be on their own? Or do I step out into the unknown and find another job that I may be excited about? I'm not sure what that is, as have done the same thing for a long time. What I do know is life is short and I want to be happy and do something meaningful again with it while I'm here. I used to feel that way about my current job. Help, Daria. This is one of those issues in a human's life that I really am interested in because I do not believe in spending time in a place that makes me unhappy. And I wish that everyone didn't believe in that, right? But, we're adults and we have responsibilities, like you said. And so, what's the sensible thing to do? Now, I will say, since you put it out there, like try to find out what made you fall out of love. If you think that it's possible to kind of explore like what's gotten you in a rut in a job that you did once love, there may be some possibility for a change within without you having to leap to a different career. If being someplace for 20 years, a lot of changes can happen over that time. And depending on what your role is and how you have had to navigate that, if you can identify some things that maybe started to feel less exciting at a certain point, like did something happen there that started to make things feel less exciting? And is there any way to tweak that? Are the people no longer people you want to be around? Or, if it's possible to identify something, then I say yes, like try that. But if you're starting to feel like an emptiness and a dread to even go there, then you probably would be better off trying to figure out what else you can do. Now, I coming up to a certain point, I wouldn't stay at a job that I started to dread going to. So as an adult, but a younger adult than I am now. And I have quit jobs before I had another one because I was simply like, I won't do another day of this. And I was fine with that. I've never had to do that in the current job market. I didn't have to do that since the recession. So I don't know how to suggest that. I feel like I would still do that. But now I've been at a job for over 12 years and I really, really like it. And I don't really see myself leaving in the next few years anyway. But I do feel like if I wanted to leave there, it'd have to be for something very specific, right? Like I need an interest or, something that draws me. It doesn't sound like you have that. And I don't know if an offshoot of what you currently do would be of interest to you or if you feel like you need a complete and different change. Doing something like that is pretty risky, but it's not impossible. It's important that you do research and kind of steady yourself. And hopefully you would have the support of your family to make a transition like that. Because even if you're bringing in the income to sustain the household, if you're not a happy person in that household with your family, because every day you have to go to a place that is draining the life out of you, then how much is that worth? That's always a very touchy thing because we all come back to bills have to be paid, for sure. Food has to be purchased. Gas has to be put in cars. The young ones, things for them have to be paid for. And I don't know how old you are, but, the boomers, I'm not a boomer, but, they came up with that particular attitude and disposition. Like, you work, you make money. It doesn't matter if you like it. It's not about whether or not you like it. You work because you have to provide. But there's so many opportunities for employment that can make that not necessarily mean stay at the job you're at until you retire / die. Right? There are ways to navigate and explore other opportunities for income and a sustainable income once you decide, though, what you like. So in order to figure that out, whatever your interests are, and I'm going to say this, and I know that some people just kind of pause at this kind of advice, but think about the things that interest you and write them down. Whatever they are. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't judge yourself about it. Just anything that you're interested in, make a list, right? And then in the time that you may have for yourself, or even with your family, if there are opportunities to go volunteer somewhere that's kind of in alignment with something that's on your list, right? Or to just read about an industry or a job, or an organization that aligns with something that's on your list, to try and find if you connect to anything that you'd want to explore further. And that's a very active type of way to explore. So you have to decide how ready you are to do that, right? But you have to be active about it, because it's like not impossible that something will just strike you, but that's unlikely. Right? So you feel this, this kind of weight of your current position and an interest in doing something else. But how do you find that? And it has to be kind of an active exploration. It may take a minute because you don't know, and what's going to be on that list and how convenient is any of it going to be. But what I think will happen as you do that, it will be a sort of lifting of the weight of the job you go to every day, right? You'll still be able, you'll go there, you'll do what you need to do, but you'll have this little nugget of kind of hope / joy about exploring other things, right? So you don't have to feel like this is all I have. This is what I have to do, or this is all I have. Once you start exploring other things, in whatever way you do that, it'll kind of tilt the scales a little bit. Because there's hope is real, and it's like maybe you'll find something. So you need this job right now because you got to pay the bills, but because you have this job and you're comfortable, you're taking care of the household, you have a little space because you're not unemployed right now, right? So you don't have to just hurry up and find a job that's below your experience level or pay grade or anything like that. You have the luxury of being able to explore. And goodness knows it is never too late to change careers. That is a fact. So, whatever societal norms that you might be used to or have been told to consider or believe in, just know that there is and if it means that you might go to school for something else, like you still have a job, there are online classes, like there are options for you to start creating a path to something that's going to make you happy again. That's if you do the first thing and you can't find your way back into what you currently do. So those are my suggestions for you. But by all means, don't restrict yourself from considering what's possible. You get one life, you're right about that. So whatever you need to do to make it meaningful to you, that doesn't cause harm to your family and or is not too detrimental to your current status in life, whatever that may be, you should do that. And I hope that the people around you support you in that, because that's important too. And I hope you have that. Thank you so much for writing. I was really excited to read your letter because it's the type of thing that I like to talk with people about. I think everybody should try and do what can make them feel like they're spending their time in ways that are important to them, including however it is we are paid, whatever our employment is. And I feel like it's enough out there for us to be able to find what it is we want to do if we try. So I really appreciated that. And I love your name. I hope it's your real name. So if you haven't, do subscribe and follow me on Instagram and on the Facebook. Really, you can pick. If you pick Facebook, then you'll see everything from Instagram and YouTube. So you could just do one. But the YouTube subscribers help a sister out. So don't not do that. Looks like I'm going to try and work with this like once a week schedule. If you were wondering, I don't know. It's a nice little flow unless someone sends me a question that seems to have a certain immediacy. Then I'll try to get to it as soon as I can, even if it's midweek. So, happy almost end of January 2020. Why am I still talking? I think that's all. Have a great week. Bye.